The DC sniper attacks in 2002 terrorized the Washington, D.C. area and left the nation gripped with fear. Over a span of 3 weeks, 2 snipers wreaked havoc, killing randomly and unpredictably, and leaving the public and authorities desperate to stop the carnage. Stay with us as we dive into the chilling details of the DC sniper attacks, and the relentless manhunt that finally brought the killers to justice. It all began on October 2, 2002, when a bullet shattered the window of a Michael's craft store in Aspen Hill, Maryland. Though no one was hurt, this seemingly random act marked the start of a deadly spree that would claim the lives of 10 people and injure 3 others over the next 3 weeks. The following day, the sniper struck again, killing 5 people in different locations around the DC area. The victims were all shot at long range, and the attacks were seemingly random, making it impossible to predict where the snipers would strike next. The terror continued. People were shot while pumping gas, mowing their lawns, shopping, and simply going about their daily lives. The randomness of the attacks instilled a deep sense of fear in the community. Schools went into lockdown, public events were canceled, and residents were afraid to go outside. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and ATF, were called in to assist in the massive manhunt, but the snipers left little evidence and moved quickly between attacks, frustrating efforts to catch them. The snipers used a modified blue 1990 Chevrolet Caprice as a mobile hideout. The car had been altered so that one of the shooters could lie in the trunk and fire through a small hole near the license plate, making it almost impossible to see where the shots were coming from. This deadly setup allowed them to strike quickly and disappear without a trace. The authorities were left with few clues, but the killers taunted police and the public with cryptic messages. They left tarot cards at crime scenes and called tip lines, demanding money and threatening more violence if their demands were not met. The public was gripped by fear and anxiety, not knowing when or where the snipers would strike next. As the attacks continued, the investigation began to focus on 2 suspects, 41-year-old John Allen Muhammad and 17-year-old Lee Boyd Malvo. Muhammad was a Gulf War veteran with a troubled past, and Malvo was a young, impressionable teenager who saw Muhammad as a father figure. The pair had traveled across the country, leaving a trail of violence before arriving in the DC area. Their motive, it would later be revealed, was a complex mix of personal grievances, desire for power, and a twisted plan to extort money from the government. The break in the case came when the snipers made a critical mistake. They called a tip line and referenced a robbery murder that had occurred in Alabama. Ballistics linked the crime to the same weapon used in the DC area shootings, and authorities were able to identify Muhammad and Malvo as suspects. The blue Caprice was finally spotted at a rest area in Maryland on October 24, 2002, and the 2 were arrested without incident. The trials that followed were highly publicized, with both Muhammad and Malvo found guilty of multiple counts of murder. Muhammad was sentenced to death and was executed in 2009. Malvo, who was a minor at the time of the attacks, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His age and the influence Muhammad had over him became a focal point of legal debates and appeals.